Welcome to the Tuesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. Sorry about that. I have no idea why it wasn't playing. I don't know. I'm gonna blame stream elements. How's it going, everybody? Cosmic Seeking, Heat 420. Welcome, everybody. I don't know. Stream elements was being a little bit weird. Mayhem Hippie, how's it going? Are we back? Can everybody hear me okay? Are we good? Does the sound normal like it was? Yesterday I had to do a tactical decision. I'm working on some content in the background. So I had to use the other microphone. Not my normal streaming mic, but it worked. Lurking, these split shifts are killing me. Jeez. Sorry to hear that. I'm not on top form, so it may not be very helpful. No, it's all good. I just want to make sure that people can hear me okay. That's all. I'm a bit of a audio-centered person. I'm very attuned to audio. It's okay. He's got this, everyone. True. I'm the professional here, okay? So yesterday, for the folks that were here yesterday, first of all, we got like massive back-to-back raids. That was awesome. That was awesome. And for those of you that were here yesterday, I was using a different microphone because I'm working on some things. And I didn't have enough time to switch. I didn't have enough time to switch out my microphone, so yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, it was. That was pretty freaking wild. We just got like back to back raids. I think it was like 3 or 4. Must have been 3. Yeah. It was pretty cool. Alright, so I think we're gonna ease into things. Not like yesterday. Alright, there's not gonna be... Russell Brand isn't gonna pop out at you, okay? Relax, everybody. Sounds good to me? Okay, cool. Yay. You know, I only do Russell Brand coverage because he has such a large audience, and I feel like there has to be some type of pushback to all the nonsense. That's the only reason. That's the only reason I cover Russell Brand from time to time when something catches my attention. Thank goodness. Thank fuck for that. Alright. Don't worry, folks. I'm sure that he's gonna say some really dumb shit that's gonna catch my attention, and we're gonna have to cover it at some point. But for now, let's enjoy our reprieve, okay? Let's enjoy our reprieve. All right. First up.
So Tim Pool sat down with the libertarian commenter and comedian. Is he still a comedian? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Dave Smith. I had a debate with Dave Smith years ago. I
To go back to that one.
Yeah, I'm curious as to. I haven't listened. I mean, it was.
Listen, you know that you know that you're engaging in some type of like lefty audio when you can clearly hear the fan in the background. Well, at least I can. I can hear the fan in the background, and it bothers the heck out of me. But that's just me. Yeah, him and Joe Rogan. Yeah, basically. But I don't cover Joe Rogan as much because I think a lot of people cover Joe Rogan. You know, a lot of people pay more attention to Joe Rogan, or at least a lot of people cover Joe Rogan more. Russell Brand somehow like kind of doesn't get that much to my, maybe I could be wrong, but to my attention. I don't see that many people pushing back against like Russell Brand. Yeah, among many things, that's right. He's a the cherry on top is that he's a self-promoting dickhead. I can see that. I can buy that.
6, 7, 8, I don't know. I don't even know when it was. It was a long time ago. He seemed like a nice guy, but also had libertarian ideas. So I imagine that was, but you know, he also seemed like a smart guy, which if he's gonna go on Tim Pool, sometimes that tends to be a problem for Tim. Yeah. Because even like a smart libertarian is going to be kryptonite for Tim Pool because Tim is going to wade into anything that he doesn't know about.
Especially one that takes pride in details.
Right. Here is Tim Pool.
Adam altogether, how's it going? How Sparks covers Russell Brand and his audience hates it also. Yeah, I think what like triggers me honestly is the fact that like he's spewing conspiracy theories and he's just dishonest. That's the problem here. He's dishonest and he's dishonest and he's trying to essentially like I guess build a cult, be a cult leader. I don't like that. It was funny he got owned so good. I saw parts of this live, so I'm just kind of doing a little recap. I saw parts of this live.
Libertarian comedian Dave Smith talking about Donald Trump's foreign policy record.
There's a war powers resolution coming up. This is the big project for the Libertarian Party right now to try to get you to go call your congressman. There's a bill in Congress.
He's just talking about Yemen, anti-Yemen war stuff right now.
And I will say that there's a lot that Dave Smith is going to be talking about that I agree upon. I don't necessarily come at the same conclusions from the same place, but this is one of those areas where things intersect. The problem with libertarianism is in my mind, is economic and the political choices there. But from a standpoint of like having Congress revitalize the War Powers Act, revoking the authorization for use of military force, largely speaking, I think there's some agreement here. But remember, Tim Pool doesn't have an ideology. He just knows that his money comes from Trump supporters.
He's a Republican, yeah.
Here we go.
The House and the Senate to try to bring an end to this genocide.
I gotta push back a little bit just because
Oh, Tim. Your notification just arrived? Good. It's only almost 30 minutes. No, it's about 21 minutes late. That's how long we've been live. 21 minutes.
I think in terms of war, Trump was the best president of my lifetime.
Why?
Because he was getting our troops out. He didn't start any new ones.
He didn't start any new ones. He definitely gave it his best try when he murdered Soleimani and could have gotten us into the worst war in the last 20 years.
I didn't say it was.
Thank God.
I didn't say that.
Damn. How bad do you have to be that a libertarian is actually having okay takes so far? Need a trigger warning for Tim Pool. I mean, I could understand trigger warnings for like Russell Brand, but like I don't know. We're watching the Majority Report dunking on Tim Pool, so I think that's okay. I think that one's okay.
That was good. Who was better? Every other president in my life started several wars. And so I understand, like, bro, drone
Okay, but
strikes.
started. Listen, I like that talking point. I like that the talking point is he didn't start a new war, rather than it being like he was so great because he was so like he was such a war hawk, like it would have been with previous Republicans. But I mean, okay, he didn't start any new wars. That is technically true. Again, he flirted in Iran and flirted in Venezuela. But the number of civilian casualties actually went up in his. He didn't end
The number of drone strikes, blah 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 blah. He's actually correct. What? Okay. I didn't even see this whole section. I didn't see this segment yesterday. There's a hot dog loving creature in that beanie. In my beanie, no. In Tim Pool's beanie, I have no idea what's in there. He didn't start any new wars. That's a weird flex. Yeah. Yeah, and you could come at it from the point of view. It's like, well, damn, that's like the bare minimum somebody can do, right? Not start wars. Damn, really? That's your accomplishment.
any
Okay.
of the wars. He continued
Pause it for
all
one
of
second.
them.
I also
That's
want
true.
to.
He continued them. He increased drone strikes. Yeah. This dude is actually so far correct.
Add that not only did civilian deaths in Afghanistan grow, also in Somalia and in Yemen. This was by design. He specifically loosened the terms of engagement that allowed for more civilian deaths. I mean, specifically. He did
Not
so
surprised.
starting, I think it was in 2017. So that's not by mistake. Now, that's not technically a new war, although you're basically saying we're going to increase our civilian casualties because. Go ahead.
Not only that. Whoa. Not only that. I got the ads right on cue. Oh man, I had a train of thought and now I lost it. Hold on.
Civilian casualties because. But go ahead.
Actually went up in his. He didn't end any of the wars. He continued.
Yeah, he didn't end any of these engagements. Mousander hasn't gone. Of course it wasn't by mistake. No. There has to be conscious decisions for the rules of engagement. Those are policy decisions, yes.
All of them. I give him all the credit in the world. He authored the deal that ultimately ended the war in Afghanistan. And by the way, even though he botched the execution, I give Biden credit too for ending that. Fine.
Damn. Oh man. Pixel Jester, how's it going? Damn. What is Tim Pool going to respond to this? He actually gave Biden credit where credit was due. And needless to say, like the original exit plan for Afghanistan was already in motion by the Trump administration. That's right. He did not end Afghanistan, but Trump did put that plan in motion. Biden just completed it. That's it. Waiting for him to blame Obama. Let's do it.
But Donald Trump was the commander-in-chief for 4 years on the promise that he was going to end these wars.
I know.
No excuse making for that. He kept them all going for all 4 years.
I think
True.
the difference in our perspectives is because I agree with you, but my thing is I have to be positive on people who are making progress so that we can continue to encourage the election of people who will follow further and further in that direction of.
Oh well, by that logic, then Joe Biden should have been your dude, right? Okay, thanks, Tim. Finally caught a live stream after you changed your times. Thank you so much. I appreciate you hanging out. Thank you. Unfortunately, yeah, sometimes the switching of the times is a little bit weird, but that's okay. We're here.
But then
Well,
I'll
that's
say,
bad.
if we want to make progress, but he didn't really make progress, is what I'm saying. If more people are being
Abraham
killed,
Accords.
what is that? So that's what deal? What peace did he strike with who?
So when you have planes that are traveling over Israel,
Right.
when you have countries like, what is it, Saudi Arabia, among other Arabic nations that are now allowing an inter-country commerce, it's just a step in the right
You know what? I think I've said this before. Yeah, we should clap for them doing the bare minimum. Yep, that's right.
Please clap.
I think I know what it is, bipedal. I've said this before. I think the beanie suit tied on his head. That's what the issue is.
direction.
No, there was no war between Saudi Arabia and Israel. There was no war
You
between
couldn't
the
go to the
UEA
country if you
and
didn't
Israel.
if you had the passport stamp.
So basically, what he did was in these peace deals is he
True.
basically bought off these other Muslim countries to be friends with Israel when they had vowed.
take it.
Well,
Jesus Christ. Damn. So, Tim Pool, just, I don't know. That guy's not going back on Tim Pool, that's for sure. That guy's never coming back on.
when they had vowed to not be friends with Israel over their treatment of the Palestinian people. And so we bribed them with U.S. taxpayer dollars to look the other way and let Israel do what they want to do to the Palestinian people in order to not like be enemies with them. So if that's a
Jesus Christ. Is this like one of those like rare times, like, or are we just seeing like how just poor political analysis Tim Pool has, like his abilities to do political analysis, it's just so bad that even this guy is able to give like better takes? Is that what's going on here?
peace deal, fine. But if I'm talking about the actual wars, the war
Pause
in,
it for 1 second.
Yeah,
Let me just add that all of that commerce was happening backdoor channels. It just made it more official. And it wasn't just a question of no longer like abandoning the Palestinian people. It was also about hegemony against Iran.
Yeah. I'm sure that this guy's heartbroken that Tim Pool won't bring him back after that evisceration. Jesus. If you could buy them, why did they try that 40 years ago? I mean, USA is USA, that's true. Would you be willing to play a game I'm making? I don't actually play that much games in this channel.
And for whatever reason, I don't know if they even touch on the Iran nuke deal, which, talk about not starting a new war. You have essentially...
Arguably, the Iran nuclear deal with that happened under the Obama administration was actually one of the very good things that he did. So, yeah.
planted the seeds of something really horrible to happen. And Biden, to his discredit, has been unable to re-enter that deal. He should have just on day one said, we'll no negotiations, no conditions. We will just go back to where we were when we left with an apology. He didn't do this, but Trump started created this situation, which was far trickier to get back into than I think people anticipated. And the Abrams Accord was very much about isolating Iran, putting more heat on Iran, having us a step closer to a conflict with Iran. They don't bring that up, but
the peace deal, fine. But if I'm talking about the actual wars, the war in Yemen, the war in Somalia, the wars in all of these countries, like, no, he didn't end them. So that's the type of peace deal I'd be looking for. So I agree with you. I want to see progress, but I think the way to get progress is to say, like, no, that's not good enough. We're actually expecting when you run on saying we're going to end the wars, that means end the freaking wars. Like, end them all. This is insane. We're draining.
Holy yikes. Is this guy seriously? It's like one of the rare moments where you could give a lowercase w to this libertarian. This is wild. Broken clock and all, I guess.
Bankrupting our country to be the empire of the world. And for what? What do we even get out of it? What do we get? Okay, in the last 20 years, in Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria.
okay. And someone just said, New Wave Libertarian Communist just said, Sam, did you know Dave Smith has hosted neo-Nazi and Nick Fuentes 3 times on his podcast, as well as Christopher Cantwell, and agreed that liberals in the media are anti-white? I did not know that, and I certainly don't want to give it I'm playing this because it was fun to watch Tim Pool get schooled on this stuff.
Right.
But the thing where
Jesus.
he goes off the rails here is, what do we get for it? What a libertarian will also do in this instance.
Wait. This guy was like hosting freaking Nick Fuentes and whatnot. Ooh, that's gonna be a giga yikes from me. Holy shit! How does everyone not see Tim Pool for the grifter that he is? I don't know. It's just unbelievable that Tim Pool has like so much audience, and he's so devoid of any like real substance when it comes to political analysis. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Pretend that the beneficiaries of this are not the corporate entities that they so desperately want to be unregulated and essentially leave our lives to. The so-called free marketeers and the privatizers, essentially, they are making money hand over fist. And every time I'm sure that any type of libertarian will talk about diminishing the size of government, because that way corporations can't have influence over them, seem to like completely misunderstand like physics and the idea of power. No one is strong in a vacuum. Is relative
very bad.
to what they need to accomplish with that strength. If you need to pick up a 5-pound weight, everybody's strong. If you need to pick up a 500-pound weight, not many people are strong. So you diminish the size of government, all you're doing is increasing the relative size of the forces that want to extricate resources from the people in one fashion or another.
True.
That's it. That's the way this works.
His
That's
beating
why
must be
the
hypnotic.
corruption on a
Why do you
local
think I
level
wear
is
one?
always more extensive than on a national level, because like one big player can come in and buy the whole town.
Yeah, and I appreciate that comment on. I didn't know that about Dave Smith. I saw him on Rogan talking about Yemen a while ago, but that sort of like the sort of race stuff doesn't surprise me for somebody like sort of with ties to the Mises Institute and that sort of thing. I did watch what happened before this on the Tim Pool Dave Smith interview, and he did suggest that the George Floyd protests were like a sort of intelligence astroturfed plot against Trump. So yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, damn.
Lunatic on domestic stuff like that.
Right. That's the thing, folks. I mean, it's always a danger when you're trying to compliment a libertarian for one of their few views.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear. It wasn't so much complimenting him as just showing like it was just an opportunity. It's one of the few times that Tim Pool will bring somebody on when he thinks he's going to be in agreement with them. And he finds out that he's not.
Yeah.
It's a good meme.
That's what's so funny about that. Why didn't anybody brief me on the fact that Trump wasn't so great on foreign policy?
The best in the lifetime talking point. That's a right-wing online sort of thing that they've gassed themselves up to think is actually true. And, no appreciation from those folks of like, yeah, the Iran deal.
Right. Yeah, it's just, man, what are you going to do?
That's Obama. That's cuck stuff.
How old is he? 30 years?
Are we
Tim
signed
Pool?
yet?
Yeah, 40.
Yeah.
If he's younger than me, I'll be irritated.
He's 36. He's 36.
I mean, so I guess that takes him back to Reagan. Best in my lifetime. I mean,
That's a good meme. Let's see. Let's try this one. I had a different article up. I don't know what the heck happened to it. Hold on. Okay, maybe we should kind of do this. Okay, we'll take a look at it in a second. Does Lindsey Graham have a humiliation fetish? I don't know. Yeah, let's take a look at this one. Senator Lindsey Graham has decided to propose, or at least put into the ether, this idea of a federal abortion ban. And quite frankly, we should take him at his word. I think that Republicans, should they find themselves in a position where they have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, will absolutely pass a nationwide abortion ban. They absolutely will. They can and they will. That's the whole end game, is to create an authoritarian theocratic state. That's what they want. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham caused quite a stir by proposing a nationwide ban on abortions after the 15-week mark, which even many fellow GOP lawmakers don't support. Or at least not right now. Like I said, given the opportunity, if these people win the House, the Senate, and the presidency, where they can just kind of pass these things, they can and they will. They will absolutely waste no time. Do you think that if the Republican Party manages to get a good enough majority, that these people will not carve out exceptions with in the filibuster? You think a filibuster is going to stop these people? No way. The whole point of even bringing this up is to kind of give you a window into what it will look like if they win power for from the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Because yeah, they can and they will institute all they can and they will institute a authoritarian theocratic state. The legislation, which could mark the start of a campaign to seek federal restrictions on the procedure after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in June. Meanwhile, new inflation data shows prices continue to rise, albeit at a slower rate across the economy, dampening hopes that the wave of cost increase has faded for good. Republican leader Mitch McConnell was among those who downplayed Graham's proposal, but Kentucky lawmakers have previously said that the chamber could consider a federal ban on abortion if the GOP wins a majority. Again, the only reason that they would even have like tepid or milquetoast, or I guess playing coy with this idea, is because they haven't won the majority yet. If they do, I would actually bet money is that they would move in the direction of implementing a federal ban on abortion, among other things. The GOP, state rights, people voted no, not like that. True. Senate Democratic candidates immediately tried to link their Republican opponents to Graham's bill, but the South Carolina Republican defended his legislation as a bulwark against late-term abortions, which again it's an attempt to kind of create a distraction so that you don't see how horrible these people are, right? Because like late-term abortions isn't really a thing. The only reason late-term abortions happen is because the mother's, the person's health is at risk at that point, right? That's the only reason it would happen. Why would you do a late-term abortion? Generally, at that point, the person wants the child, right? The only reason you would engage in a late-term abortion is because you have literally no other choice. States are now getting rid of ballot initiatives just for that reason. Yep, we covered that. Absolutely. These people fundamentally just don't like the idea of democracy. Period. I think you even mentioned that bipedal meatbag. I think Democrats made a huge mistake in introducing legislation in Washington that would basically allow abortion up to the moment of birth. I think that's a straw man. Now we have an alternative to that. Okay, buddy. The court's decision on June set off a nationwide scramble to define the legal rights to an abortion after it found nearly 50 years ago a constitutional right to it. In May, the Senate failed to advance a Democratic bill establishing a federal right to terminate a pregnancy until fetal viability, or later if there's a risk to the pregnant patient's life or health. Right, that's the whole point. Fetal viability occurs around 22 to 24 weeks into a pregnancy. Graham's bill, which has no chance of passing in a Democratic-controlled Senate, provides exceptions for abortions required to protect the life of the mother and if the woman becomes pregnant through rape or incest. Senate Republicans were slow on Tuesday to embrace Graham's plan. Again, they will absolutely do this should they have the majority. It's not about life in any of these arguments, 100%. Their vocal calls to ban birth control echoes the point. Cruelty, 100%. Well, the point is at the core, they don't see women as people. They don't see women as people, right? That's the whole crux of it. Jesus, bipedal. The House of the Dragon TV show tackles abortion in a neat way. Excellent point, Michael Hassler. Yes, they did. Excellent point. I'll look at it, said Florida Senator Rick Voldemort Scott, who chairs the Senate GOP campaign committee. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, who is in a tough re-election race, would not directly answer. Cowards. What a bunch of cowards, dude. These people go like parading pro-life, whatever BS, and then like when push comes to shove, when an actual bill proposal comes to shove, all of a sudden, crickets. What a bunch of spineless cowards. I wonder why they wouldn't be so motivated to answer this simple question. When asked if he backs Graham's bill, Johnson said abortion law should be decided by we the people in the 50 states. The Supreme Court decision yeah, but you don't even believe that. The Republican Party doesn't even fundamentally believe in that. But okay. The Supreme Court's decision resurrected Wisconsin's abortion ban, which was passed in 1849. Jesus. South Dakota Senator John Thune, the GOP whip, defended the new legislation, saying it will give the GOP candidate a place to land as they get hammered by Democrats on the issue. He said most Republicans favor abortion restrictions, not an outright ban. Thune told CNN he supports a 15-week ban. Yeah, but if you ban basically every single abortion, or you make it so that when it's important to have this procedure, you just basically take away that right. That's basically what you're doing. The Republicans, the Tea Party, and MAGA only want America the way they want it, and to hell with everyone else. Yep, that's basically it. These are all the same people, by the way. Republicans, the Tea Party, which is just reformed into the MAGA people. These are all the same, okay? There's a huge intersect, which is what I'm trying to stress. This is the Republican Party, right? These aren't three separate entities. They're the same. They have such a large intersection that it's the same groups. Sorry about that. When the Venn diagram is just one... Okay, that's a good meme. That's a good meme. I would expect there be some there would be pretty good support for that among, pro-life Republicans and maybe some pro-life Democrats. Okay. I also think that because Democrats have tried to convert this into a one-sided argument that represents their singular view of the world, which is all Republicans are for an outright ban, Dune added, well, I mean, I think this is a misrepresentation. I think this is a misrepresentation, right? It is a very one-sided kind of argument, right? It's very simple. One side believes in bodily autonomy and the right to self-determination, and one side just doesn't fundamentally believe in that. That's it. The point will always be cruelty. Shaking hands over voting down the last veteran benefit bill. Yeah, that was freaking wild. The one that gives people who are suffering from cancers and illness from burn pits. Yep, it's probably the image I will always pull up first when talking about or when talking to Republicans. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, this is the All Lives Matter crowd. Yep, all these are the same people. It's like, what is that meme from The Office? Like, corporate needs you to identify the differences between these two images. Yeah. I think this changes the narrative and gives candidate a place to be for something that reflects their views and doesn't fit the Democrats' narrative. There's only, literally, honestly, there's only one right answer to this question, and that is pro-choice, right? That's it. That's literally the only correct answer to the question of abortion is being pro-choice, right? Because if you fundamentally have some kind of moral objection to abortion because, you have like religious brainworms or something, hey, real quick, this is very simple, okay? And it's free. It's very simple and it's free, and you can just do it by yourself. Don't have one and mind your own fucking business. Boom. Easy. Wow. So freaking hard. They're just admitting that their ideas aren't popular and they're just going to keep on trucking. Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said, like we've talked about Bipedal, they fundamentally don't believe in democracy. The Republican Party is just incompatible with democracy. The way they're talking, the legislation that they want, the rhetoric that they push, I mean, it's obvious to me anyways, and to everyone here. I think we're all in agreement that at the core, they just don't fundamentally believe in democracy. They don't care. They're not interested in that concept. What they are interested in is creating a theocratic state in which they get to call the shots. That's it. That's it. And Lindsey Graham here kind of just showed his hand a little bit too early. But, we never want to interrupt the enemy when they're making mistakes, right? The abortion debate fundamentally is about bodily autonomy. Everyone has a right to self-determination. In other words, you get to choose what I mean by that, I guess, you get to choose what to do with your body so long as it doesn't affect any other person. An important addition to this concept of bodily autonomy is that you are also not entitled to anyone's body. Period. Full stop. Even in death, you must have explicit consent. Usually when you do like the driver's license or things like that, that's how you give explicit consent to harvest your organs. So you literally, nobody is entitled to your body under any circumstances without your explicit consent, even in death. The government's only business here is to protect that right. That's it. That is literally the only option here, is to be pro-choice. If you have some weird moral objection, again, usually brought on by like religious brainworms, then you don't have to have one. And you can just mind your own business. You do not get to dictate to the rest of everybody else, to the rest of us, what to do. Period. Full stop. No, that's it. That's the end of that argument. That's right. They see women as livestock. Pro-birth is not pro-life. Correct. It's really a misnomer, but whatever. The thing about Christians is that they love being the minority even when they aren't. Right, it's the victim complex. They make them feel like real martyrs, and they'll for sure get into heaven when when God sees their suffering. Their suffering in a lot of cases just being consequences of their own actions. True. They love that victim mentality. Because suffering is good for them. Suffering is an indication to them. It's a whole thing because Jesus suffered, and all this other stuff. It's really bizarre. Christians have such a weird, warped view of the world where they think like suffering is good. Because Jesus suffered for us. Or whatever. Anyways. But Texas Senator John Cornyn, a member of the GOP leadership, has a different view of Graham's bill. I think there are going to be some differences of opinion. My preference is to have each state handle those issues. But again, I don't think any of you actually believe that. Asked why he thought Graham put forward the legislation, Cornyn responded, "Ask Senator Graham," not answering the question. Because the question is, why do you think he brought up? You can give an opinion. You could be like, I don't know. The Puritans were kicked out of England and they've never quite got over it since. True. I can justify being a piece of shit if it means I get to go to my special Sky Daddy house. True. And even better, I can absolve myself of personal responsibility while spending my entire life preaching about personal responsibility to everybody else. Excellent meme. North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis said that he wanted to focus on inflation. The consumer price index jumped 8.3% from August of 2021 to last month, even as gas prices decreased and a potential strike by railroad workers. That's what we ought to be focusing on. But even then, that's not a good, that's not even a good angle of attack. These people are desperate. They don't have a good angle of attack because at the core of it, they don't really have any policy. Because if they were to propose policies, people would be freaking appalled at the type of policies they would actually want to propose. That's why all this is happening. Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, a third GOP member of leadership, said he supported Graham's previous anti-abortion proposals, but would not answer directly when he asked if it was politically advantageous for the GOP to be introducing such a bill before the midterm elections. Clowns. Spineless freaking cowards. Spineless cowards. The division within the Senate Republican Conference in Washington extended to the campaign trail. Herschel Walker, GOP's Senate nominee, and apparently professional climate scientist, atmospheric science scientist, and what else was he an expert on again? The sad thing is that Republican voters do not care about policy. True. But they will absolutely agree with the abhorrent policies that Republicans propose as long as it owns the libs. That's the important part, Wolf Glenn. As long as it owns the libs. He's probably trying to distract that he's under federal investigation. Wait, who? Ah, that's right, a philosopher. Sorry, there we go. That's what it is. He's a climate expert. He's an atmospheric scientist because apparently he's very well familiar with the way air works. As he very, very profoundly put it, China gets our clean air and their bad air gets over here so that we can clean it. Incredibly profound. And apparently he's also a philosopher. Amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Cheeseburger Freedom Eagle. That's right. That's right. He's under federal investigation because, he's tried to meddle with the Georgia election. Gotcha. Okay, now I remember what you're talking about. Yeah. Herschel Walker, Georgia's GOP Senate nominee, said he supports a 15-week abortion ban, writing in a statement that probably wasn't written by him. The issue should be decided at the state level, but I would support this. So then, what? Oh God, please help make it make sense, guys, please. So he doesn't care about the state level. Okay, whatever. It doesn't have to make sense, folks. It really doesn't. Okay, can we convince him that raising taxes on high income earners of folks with larger assets will be owning the libs? Yeah. What you can do is like say that most of the rich people are libs anyway, so why don't we just tax them? I don't know. I don't even know if that'll work. These people can hold contradictory positions simultaneously, so I don't know, Wolfglen. It kind of makes sense that they would want to suffer for their faith to prove themselves, but them feeling like the chosen ones means humbleness goes out the window, and entitlement that follows means that they can't be asked to put in any actual work of kindness. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But I would support this policy, so you actually don't care. This was a distraction. Your actual goal would then, if this is the attitude that you're telling, the attitude that you're giving me, that indicates, and this is pretty much like I think a good explanation of the Republican policy on this, right? They don't actually want this to go to the state level. That was their like kind of foot in the door. That was the foot in the door, because at the end of the day, he says it clearly that he would support this policy. When asked to clarify whether Walker would vote for a federal bill like Graham, despite saying the issue should be decided by the states, a spokesman for Walker responded, "Seems clear to me that's why it says support." Not okay, so we're playing pedantic games, but Herschel Walker, if he was in the Senate, would and listen, if Herschel Walker was in the Senate right now and the Republicans had a majority in the state, in the House and the Senate, and had a Republican president, you best believe that Herschel Walker would be casting that yes vote to ban abortions in a federal level. 100%. This is not even a question. Oh, that's right. They wouldn't go for it because it would hurt their patron saint, Elon Musk. That's right. True. They use suffering to justify superiority. Right. Which comes from, in my opinion, from like the idea that Jesus suffered for your sins and whatever, and like Jesus is God. So like they kind of have that like, comparison. What did Dennis Prager say? I am God. No, I'm kidding. That's from the animation. Amon animation. But Joe O'Dea, the Colorado Senate Republican nominee, said that he opposed the legislation calling for Congress to pass a bill protecting women's right to choose early in pregnancy while providing sensible limits on non-medically necessary late-term abortions. So that was the whole point of Roe. Okay, whatever. You guys need to freaking find your principles over here. Senate Democrat candidates immediately seized on Graham's bill. Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, who's running against Republican Senate nominee and professional snake oil salesman. There we go. Dr. Oz asked his opponent if he would support the legislation. He and other candidates, including Representative Val Demings in Florida and New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan, quickly touted their own pro-abortion right view. Republicans' national abortion ban will be on the ballot in every Senate race, said Michigan Senator Gary Peters, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee chairman. The GOP has shown once again that the threat they pose to a woman's right to make her own healthcare decisions, and voters will make their voices heard by standing with Senate Democrats in November. Well, I mean, yeah, but, you can't just rely on that, Jesus Christ. Because behind the curtain of campaign donation that motivates both parties into making tax reductions for the rich. Yeah. It's unclear if Republicans would put the Graham bill on the Senate floor if they win back the chamber this fall. No. If they win the Senate and the House, and in 2024, they win the presidency, yeah, they will. I would bet money that they will. Maple Leaf Dragon, how's it going? Preach the truth no matter how difficult. True. Warnock is currently up 2 points against Walker. Really? So the tide has flipped a little bit? That's good to know, but statistically, not convincing. Not convincing. We're still in coin flip territory, my friends. That's so depressing. Imagine being 2 points up against someone like Herschel Walker. Once he's 8 points up, I'll relax a little bit. Yeah. That one, and it's what's more frustrating is that particular race is going to be an important one. That's the cringe part about that. That race in Georgia is going to be incredibly important. If Republicans deliver on abortion ban, if Republicans deliver an abortion ban to Joe Biden to make law, can Joe refuse to sign it? Yeah. If he's president, he can veto that law, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, the Republicans have to win the House, the Senate, and the presidency in 2024. So this midterm, they sweep the House and the Senate. 2 years from now, they elect a Republican president. Absolutely, they will. 100% guarantee that bill will come back around. 100%. Yeah, unless it's like some veto-proof margin, which is highly unlikely because you would need like some kind of super majority. But that's why I'm making that special caveat. If they win this in the midterms, if they win the House and Senate, and then in 2024, 2 years from now, they win the presidency, guaranteed that this bill is gonna come around, among other things. Or I guess I should say, it's gonna circle back.
Please clap.
It's unclear. Yes. Okay. I don't know the answer to that. Dune said, my expectation, as I said before, is that anything we put on the floor would be at least 60 votes. And there aren't 60 votes probably for anything at the moment on either side. House Republicans also plan on introducing a 15-week abortion ban bill. The House GOP leaders have not committed to putting the measure on the floor if they recapture the majority, but House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy has previously told CNN that he supports banning. Yeah, like I said, if they win and they get this chance, they absolutely will. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. And this year, because there aren't 60 votes in the Senate, I wouldn't put it past the Republican Party to just kind of like forego the filibuster. I guarantee that they would at least attempt to carve out an exception for this, just like Mitch McConnell did. A filibuster is merely a hurdle that they need to jump over, which I believe they would attempt to carve out an exception or whatever, whatever it is that they need. So I'm not convinced that this alone will stop them. I think that the conditions for them to actually go forward with this would be that they win the House, the Senate, and the presidency. At that point, because they already have the Supreme Court, which clearly is sympathetic to them. So I think the filibuster will then be like, they'll carve out an exception. I mean, McCarthy's, quote, commitment to America, a policy and messaging document that he is formally rolling out next week makes only one passing reference to abortion, according to a source familiar with the document. The document says Republicans will protect the lives of unborn children and mothers. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Anyways. Folks, guaranteed that they will try. They will try. If they gain the House, the Senate, and the presidency, take a peep. Take a peek, I should say, because this is what it's going to look like, folks. Yeah, commitment to authoritarian America is more like it. True. By protect, they mean control. Yep. If Dems deliver an abortion permitted by law, can Republicans overturn it the next time around? Not so easily. If you're talking about like law, like Congress actually gets its ish together and says, no, we're going to codify this. We're going to codify the right to self-determination and the right to bodily autonomy. And they codify it and pass it, and Joe Biden signs it into law. That's a lot harder. That's not just as simple as, you know, as winning the election. I think it's a lot tougher. Echo Rest Dragon, how's it going? All right, let's talk about this. Judge unseals 9 additional paragraphs from Mar-a-Lago search affidavit. Judge Eileen Cannon on Tuesday unsealed more of the pages of the affidavit from the FBI search warrant issued for the classified documents that Donald Trump took with him to the country club Palm Beach, Florida. There were 2 grand jury subpoenas issued prior to the search at Mar-a-Lago. The pages detailed they were part of the ongoing litigation around the special master. Federal prosecutors told Judge Cannon Tuesday that they've already talked about the special master in another case with the judge overseeing the grand jury, and that judge approved the disclosure of the information redacted previously. Jesus, this is so convoluted. One piece that is new is the search warrant affidavit is that 5 of the documents were marked confidential, 16 marked secret, and 17 marked top secret. Other markings on the documents at Mar-a-Lago, stop it. Continued information derived from Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which is kind of a surveillance that happens electronically involving foreign adversaries to the U.S. as well as human intelligence. There was a certified letter to the FBI and DOJ at Mar-a-Lago on June 3rd saying that, based upon information that has been provided to me, I am authorized to certify on behalf of the office of Donald Trump the following. It then makes the case that they'd search all the boxes in Florida from the White House and that they'd handed over all the documents. The name isn't included in the release, but reports indicated it was the lawyer Christina Bobb, the same lawyer who went on, was it OAN or Newsmax? Yeah. Yikes. The walls are looking a little snug there, huh? Her letter also details that they did a search of the storage room and that there was no additional documents anywhere else in Mar-a-Lago, but the FBI alleges that it found many documents in Trump's personal office, his desk drawers, and in the office closet. So they attempted to hide this. Why? That's what it sounds like to me. According to Individual 2, who is a National Archives representative for Trump, said when producing the documents, neither F. POTUS Counsel 1 nor Individual 2 asserted that former president had declassified the documents. The documents being in a red-weld envelope wrapped in tape appears to be consistent with an effort to handle the documents as if they were still classified. The newly unredacted portion of the Mar-a-Lago search warrant affidavit, the former president's counsel 1 pointed to Trump in what could be considered an obstruction of justice under 18 U.S.C. 1519, tweeted the lawyer George Conway. You can read the full filing here. I'll just post a link to this. If you want to see like the complete thing. They could codify self-determination and bodily autonomy. You might even be able to get libertarians on board. Yeah, maybe. I've actually heard like a panel of libertarians tried to like talk amongst each other, and like, man, I came out less smart from trying to listen to them. So, to me, it sounds like somebody's lying. Somebody's going to end up taking an L for this, right? Ideally, we would see accountability for Donald Trump. But in my opinion, probably one of these lawyers is going to end up taking it's going to end up taking the L for this. The more I read. I think what you could get Donald Trump with probably would be the obstruction, right? Because, like, why would you lie? And then why would you hide or, I guess, mislead the FBI or the National Archives, whoever's, like, looking for these documents, right? You said that you handled it, or you said you brought somebody that represents you, right? That's supposed to represent you in a legal capacity, saying that, yeah, you took everything, but you didn't because they executed a search warrant and they found more documents that you weren't supposed to have. That sounds like obstruction. But, you know, we will see. I think to piggyback off that, we're going to go over here. Over 30 Trump associates subpoenaed by grand jury over alleged efforts to influence the 2020 election results. Yeah. But remember, folks, it was the Democratic Party. It was the Democratic Party who engaged in this behavior. Every freaking accusation just ends up being a confession, huh? Only 30? That we know. More than 30, I should say. Fake news, more than 30. I should have just read it. Over 30. I should have, yeah, okay. Anyways, my bad. More than 30 people associated with former President Trump and alleged efforts to influence the 2020 election have received federal grand jury subpoenas, 4 sources told CBS News. The subpoenas, many of which were issued last week, mark a significant escalation in the Justice Department's investigation into the oranges. I'm sorry, I could never not say oranges now, thanks to this guy. I can never not say oranges. The origins of the January 6th insurrection and other alleged to stop the transfer of power to then-President Trump from then-President-elect Joe Biden. One source familiar with the case characterized the investigation as huge. Justice Department is examining how money was raised and spent on alleged attempts to overturn the 2020 election, efforts to submit fake alternate electors, playing off the alternative facts thing, I guess, to Congress from slates lost by Trump, and the quote "Stop the Steal" rally held at the Ellipse adjacent to the White House grounds on January 6th, just before the insurrection. Yeah, the oranges. That word has forever changed for me. Thanks, Donald Trump. The Justice Department's inquiry into potential mishandling of presidential and classified records found that... Wait, whoa, it's a separate matter. Yes, thank you. We know that. Why would they... Jesus. This is like when you're trying to write a college paper or like a essay in your class, and like you're supposed to fill it with like an X amount of words. This is the kind of shit that you do. Forever, the word origins will always be oranges now. Can't unsee. I did notice I stopped drinking origin juice once I hit the chronic Trump fatigue. Weird. Yeah, I think what you mean is origin juice. I think that's what you mean. Those who were served subpoenas included employees and contractors for the Trump campaign and the RNC, including poll watchers, according to two sources familiar with the subpoenas. The sources said that the identities of those subpoenaed range from household names to mostly unknown low-level field staffers. CBS News has confirmed that close Trump aide Will Russell received a subpoena by email last week. Oh man, jeez. And the New York Times reported last week that former White House senior aide Stephen Miller and Brian Jack also received subpoenas. Jack, an attorney for Russell, did not respond to a request for comment. Miller declined to comment through an intermediary. FBI personnel and several of the subpoenas early in the morning last Wednesday and Thursday. FBI personnel served several of the subpoenas early in the morning last Wednesday and Thursday, adding that in at least two instances, agents executed search warrants that allowed them to seize individuals' cell phones. Interesting. So, not a raid. Interesting. Yeah, not enough kofefe this morning. This is true. I'm sorry, guys. I need more kofefe. I drank all of mine earlier today. By the way, what this was actually was, and I can't stress this enough how delicious this is. This was a vanilla soy milk from the brand Silk. You have to buy that one specifically because for some reason that brand is just so tasty. With oats, fruit, and chocolate. It just can't be beat, folks. Can't be beat. Stephen Miller deserves to be buried under Leavenworth for all he put into motion. Well, yeah. He was like the chief. Wasn't he like mostly involved in writing Trump's speeches? Anywho. Virginia-based attorney David A. Warrington, who said he represents approximately a dozen clients who have been issued subpoenas, said the FBI was very professional when serving his clients. He added that the subpoenas his clients received are nearly identical, describing them as lengthy documents divided into sections and subsections. They cover issues related to the alternate electors. Why do they call them alternate electors? They're fake electors. They're not supposed to... Okay, illegal electors. You can't just do that. But okay. He was Trump's Nazi propagandist and the source of almost all of Trump's worst policies. True, particularly when it comes to immigration. And election certification deadlines on December 14th, and January 6th fundraising by the Save America PAC, and the January 6th Stop the Steal rally, but not the ensuing insurrection. The subpoenas required individuals to provide documents and any communications between themselves themselves and Trump allies like Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Sidney Powell, and Bernie Carrick. Warrington said, the subpoenas also demand recipients to provide any communication with dozens of individuals who appear to be on the slates of fake electors. At least some of the subpoenas compelled recipients to appear before a grand jury on September 23rd at Washington, D.C. District Courthouse, Warrington said. Mother and daughter, Amy and Kylie Kramer, were served subpoenas last week, according to Warrington. They are listed as hosts of the National Park Service permit for the Ellipse Rally on January 6th of 2021. Both are part of the Women for America First, which on its website tells visitors to help us fight back against the January 6th committee and the DOJ. Women for Fascism, got it. Warrington and the Kremers are not connected to the insurrection at the Capitol that ensued after the rally. Well, the walls, like I said, seem to be getting a little bit more snug there. Jesus, I just saw like Ken Starr died at 76. Wow. That is something I did not expect to read. I've got a feeling that like a lot of these people are going are going to go down. The real question is like, is there going to be any accountability for like Trump? I don't know. If Miller had his way, any non-white trying to cross the border would be tortured, families isolated from each other, and any adults would likely be executed. I mean, like, for all intents and purposes, I mean, a lot of that happened. The only thing that didn't happen was like freaking straight up executions. Taking and breaking families, taking their children. God knows where. A lot of, like, we're still trying to, like, fumble around to try to reunite these families. I mean, torturing them by keeping them in essentially what would be, like, camps. Yeah. I think they would turn states... I think they will turn state's evidence. You mean like they'll turn on Donald Trump? Is that what you're saying? Orange, judges and juries, 45 is going to skate probably. You think so? To save their skins? Maybe, but I don't even know if that's enough. I'm not sure. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening if there's any accountability whatsoever. Not sure. So I guess we should do a little bit of a content warning before we get into the story. Probably disappeared into the shadow prisons, which do exist, or filed into Christian nationalist cults. Yeah. Folks, if you enjoy the content and you want to support this channel, make sure you hit the follow button. Go on the YouTubes and hit the subscribe button. It really does help us out. Like the stream, do all the awesome stuff. Spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us on Sundays around noon Eastern Time for Sunday Fun Day. Once again, it does help us out. I appreciate it. And if you follow the stream, you get 5 free emotes. How about that? If Jumper Smarty would resign and just have Mike Pence pardon him, yeah, but I don't even know if that's like 100% like how that works, right? I don't know. He might be able to pardon him for like maybe federal stuff, but like I don't know like the extent of that or how that would be seen. I don't know. Regardless, that was the small show session. I appreciate all the support, all the follows. Thank you guys so much. You guys are what makes this go, and I appreciate it. All right. Content warning before we get into this story, because this story is a bit rough, right? So content warning, CW, TW, content warning. This one's a bit rough. Okay. Man who shot wife, daughter was ruined after Trump's election loss. I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is a death cult. A Michigan man shot his wife and daughter early Sunday morning and was reportedly ruined by the internet and QAnon conspiracy theories following former President Trump's loss in the 2020 election. In a Sunday evening Facebook post, the Oakland County Sheriff's Office said that they received a 911 call from the area of Glenwood Drive in Walled Lake by a young woman who stated that she had just been shot by her father. According to the Sheriff's Office, deputies had to triangulate the 911 call after the caller was unable to give an exact location. Sheriff's deputies eventually found the residence where the call was made from. When deputies arrived, they heard a gunshot and began to approach the home. The Sheriff's Office added that a man, a 53-year-old dude, I'm not going to name him, opened the front door and fired a shotgun at deputies, prompting them to return fire and fatally shoot him. Meanwhile, Rebecca Lannis, who identified herself as Lannis, other daughter, spoke with the Detroit News, and she published a Reddit post on subreddit QAnon Casualties, which is connected to the popular QAnon conspiracy theory shortly after the shooting. The title of her post said, "My Q dad snapped and killed my family this morning. This is just wild, and tragic. Truly." Unbelievable. I live close to there? Sheesh. Same county? Wow. Yikes. Well. The internet ruined him. In 2020, after Trump lost, my dad started going down the Q rabbit hole. He kept reading conspiracy theories about the stolen election. Trump vaccines and etc. This is why all of this is just so freaking damaging. And it's not just to be like, you know, this is not an anti-free speech argument. This is just like, dude, this has real life consequences, okay? He always said he wanted to keep us safe and healthy. Well, at around 4 a.m. on September 11th, he had an argument with my mother and decided to take our guns and shoot her, my dog, and my sister. Jesus freaking Christ. My mother succumbed to her wounds, and my sister is in the hospital right now. My dad also fired at the cops, and they killed him. In the Facebook post, the sheriff's office said that after fatally shooting this person, deputies searched the resident and found a 25-year-old female who made that 911 call. She stated that her dad shot her and her mother, and she was transported to an area hospital and rushed to the emergency surgery. She was initially listed in critical condition, but since after the surgery has been upgraded to stable condition. The post said, which added a 56-year-old female was shot multiple times, was pronounced dead in the back, was pronounced dead at the scene. Further investigation by the Oakland County Special Investigation Unit in conjunction with the Wall Police Department is ongoing. In a statement sent to Newsweek, Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard said this is an unbelievably horrific act that was fueled by conspiracy theories perpetuated originally by the President of the United States. Holy yikes. Think about that for a second. This is a pro-critical thinking argument, 100%. Yeah. It is so sad on many levels, but due to the response and professionalism of our dispatch, the Walled Lake officers and Oakland County Sheriff's Office deputies, at least one victim was saved. We will actively pursue information and gain insight into what set this into motion. Conspiratorial paranoia, probably should have seen a mental health professional. Probably, I'm going to assume. I'm going to assume, again, not a mental health professional, but I'm going to assume he had some kind of break. Went down this rabbit hole, was radicalized, and had access to firearms when clearly this person should not have had access to firearms. Clearly, this would have been a perfect scenario for some type of red flag law. Yeah, if there was any type of like argument for a red flag law, this would be it. This would be a perfect illustration as to how that would work out. Yeah, I heard Ken Starr is dead. It's wild. I don't even know how he passed away. This is like breaking news. Did it even say what he passed away from? No. A QAnon thinks the Queen was murdered? Ah, yes. Clearly someone who's like past 90, 96, 90, whatever. Ah, yes, murdered. Okay, buddy. Sure. Oh, man, these people. Quote, I think he was always prone to mental issues, but it really brought him down when he was reading all those weird things on the internet. Damn. I called it. Yeah. No kidding. He should have absolutely seen a professional. This is wild that we don't have like a good system for mental health. It's been proven that if you isolate these people from the source of their mania, they can stabilize into being a reasonable citizen in just a few weeks. Yeah. Gaming? Okay. Cool, dude. The hell did you do to get banned from Riverboat Jack? You don't know? Really? Riverboat Jack is freaking awesome. Okay? So I don't know what you did to get banned from her channel. And she does not just and she does not ban to ban people. So, You don't know. Anyone want to play anyone want to do a Gamba stream about how long they last here? Nothing in the papers here say about how he died. Yeah, I didn't see anything here. I think that he was always prone to mental issues, but it really brought him down when he was reading all those weird things on the internet. Rebecca told the Detroit News, who added that following Trump's loss in 2020, her father became indulged in crazy ideas he found on the internet, including QAnon conspiracies. Nobody could talk him out of them. In addition to fatally shooting his wife, he also killed the family dog, which this is indication of something, I mean, again, 5 minutes. Fundamentally, like, man, this person needed to see a healthcare professional, right? I mean, Jesus Christ. Right-wing extremism is not funny, and people need to watch their relatives if they have guns, they need to hide them or report them or something, because this is out of control. Yeah, like this is exactly why you would this is exactly why you would implement some type of red flag law. This would be the scenario right here. That's true. That's true, Wolfglen. Yeah, so this is, the tragic result of, like, essentially stochastic violence, I guess. All because he bought into the idea that Donald Trump put into his head. This is wild. Think about that, folks. Unfreaking believable. All right. We're gonna do this article. Then we got this. All right. The economics behind quiet quitting and why and what we should call it instead. This is pretty cringe. This is gonna get cringe real fast. Over the last several weeks, the concept of quiet quitting has exploded like a supernova across the media universe. The Big Bang began on TikTok with a video uploaded about a 20-something engineer named Zaid Khan with the sound of a piano playing a ragtime-style tune and summertime shots of New York City flashing across the screen. Ken narrates a 17-second video that has introduced millions of people to the idea. I recently learned about this term called quiet quitting, when you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. Yeah, the idea that you should just do the work that you get paid for. Gotcha. Excellent. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life based. The reality is it's not, and your worth as a person is not defined by your labor based. Yeah, quiet quitting just equals doing your job. Exactly. Quiet quitting, in other words, is not really about quitting. It's more like a philosophy for doing the bare minimum at your job. Yeah, but when you frame it like that, that gives it a negative connotation. It's the philosophy of doing what you get paid to do. I'm sorry. Like that's fundamentally what it is. In Japan, there's a concept called shokunin, which refers to an artisan who is deeply dedicated to the craft, always striving for perfection in what they make. Quiet quitting is like the opposite of that. Yeah, but you're not. Wait, how could you make this comparison? How could you make this like logic? It doesn't make any sense because like an artisan who's deeply dedicated to their craft is not the same as like some person in an office doing something that they have absolutely no care for. Nor is it like what they're passionate about, right? Because the whole point is to be deeply dedicated to your craft, right? Like there's a difference between what I do here on stream, which I deeply care and I'm deeply dedicated to this craft, right? I always ask you guys about how the sound about how the sound is because I strive for perfection in what I do, right? Of course, I'm never going to be perfect, but I take interest in what I do and I'm deeply dedicated. That's my point. This is not the same as like a job. In Japan, people who work more than they are required to on a regular basis are known to be on a death march. Yeah. Quiet quitting is like the opposite of that. Nope. It's about divorcing your ego from what you do or for a living and not striving for perfection. Yeah, because you're paid to do a certain thing. If you do the certain thing, then the contract has been fulfilled. That's it. Wait, you're doing the job you were hired to do, right? Not like they're not doing the job. If you want them to do more, pay them more, period. You're talking to someone who's working an unscheduled split shift for a client because I pride myself on my work. Yeah, because that's what you want to do. That's fair enough. And if you think that that's what you're doing, like it's fulfilling and that's what you want to do and you take pride in doing that, heck yeah. That's not what this is the issue here with. I'm not going to get promoted or compensated for going above and beyond. And if I value my time and myself, I'm not going to waste it on business. Yeah, on a business that at most will return my value with a pizza party. Exactly. Thank you. But yeah, I'm not talking about like if you take pride in what you do and you personally want to go above and beyond. Hey, listen, that's you. I'm just saying that like the concept of quiet quitting isn't like being lazy or disregarding your work. It just means fulfilling your contract. That's it. If I get paid X amount of dollars per hour, you're gonna get that out of me. If you try to shaft me by sneaking in extra jobs or anything like that, then you know what? It's just not gonna fly, and the production then gets dialed down until I feel like I'm working my wage. It's about setting boundaries, which is perfectly healthy, and simply completing the tasks you're supposed to complete within the time you're paid to do them. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's fulfilling your contract. No more kowtowing to your bosses or your customers. No more working nights and weekends, incessantly checking your email. Yeah, all of that, super toxic. If that's like the expectations at your job, super toxic. Workaholism is out. Good. Coasting is in. It's not coasting. It's fulfilling your freaking contract, right? Coasting is like the implication that you're trying to get by with doing less. That's not what the concept or philosophy of quiet quitting is, which is again a misnomer, but whatever. It's the popular term. Overworking in your career is night and day different than overworking in your job. Careers are usually energizing for the individual. Jobs are usually soul crushing. Yeah, I guess. It depends because like some people really do enjoy their jobs and love doing that, which is fine and fair. And some people are in a career and are absolutely miserable. Most observers seem to agree that the recent enthusiasm for quiet quitting says something about our post-pandemic zeitgeist. With a super tight labor market giving workers multiple job options and an ongoing battle being fought over the preservation and expansion of remote work, many workers seem to be reevaluating where and how they do their jobs. Based. Maybe quiet quitting is just an extension of the Great Resignation, or as we rebranded it, the Great Renegotiation. Maybe a large chunk of our labor force was always phoning it in, but now they have a loud social media presence and better branding. Maybe it's people feeling like suckers for going the extra mile at pre-pandemic just to get laid off en masse. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it's just because people pay, owners pay such bullshit-ass wages for bullshit-ass jobs, and expect people to, go the extra mile and do multiple people's jobs at the same time? Nah. Or maybe quitting is a BS pseudo-trend. I don't know about that. To be honest, we don't know. This is so cringe. But at least there's some data to suggest that there's something real going on in the psyche of the workforce. Yeah, people are tired of bullshit jobs for bullshit wages. With layoffs and firings at a record low, people have unprecedented job security, said Julia Polak, the chief economist of the job search website ZipRecruiter. And so the risk of termination is lower. And also, that's also why the incentive to work harder is reduced. What? No. Do you think that the only incentive to work hard is because you have job security? This is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous statement. To think that the only reason that you have an incentive to work harder is because, like, your risk of termination is less? No. Incentives to work harder would be related to your pay and how you feel that job is treating you. What? Okay. Whatever. This doesn't make any sense. This statement here, Miss Chief Economist at ZipRecruiter, makes absolutely no sense and has no idea how this works. The consequences of being found to shirk have become much smaller. One, because companies can't afford to fire people, and two, because there are so many alternatives out there if you do lose your job. And also, they pay bullshit wages. Jesus Christ. The first clue that someone doesn't understand how anything works is that they're an economist. Once getting a living wage is a norm with a guarantee of cost of living increase when appropriate, then we can renegotiate working harder. True, because the basic platform would be a wage that would allow you to have the things that you need to, I don't know, live. A living wage, right? That's generally what it was supposed to mean. If not, then what the fuck is the point of a job? Why would I work for you? Like, I have a career and I love my job. I'm choosing to work extra. You're choosing to work extra because you like this. This is a completely different thing that we're talking about. You are making these conscious decisions because you like this. I also know my boss takes advantage of my work ethic and will work weird hours. However, it really benefits me due to my kids and their schedule, and he works with me on it. I may complain about my job, but I know I'm lucky in the grand scheme of things. I've gotten 2 raises this year. Like I said, if that's something that's working for you personally, awesome. Economists like to apply rational actor theory to everything without considering that humans are human and not inherently rational. Yeah, it's a good point. Meanwhile, the government data shows a historic drop in productivity over the last 2 quarters. There could be many reasons for this. The supply chain fiasco, a record rate of job switching, business hiring decisions during a weird time for the economy, scars from the pandemic, growing pains from the mass adoption of remote work, you name it, or shit wages. Jesus Christ. But some argue that something like quiet quitting might have something to do with it. It would certainly play into the sentiment expressed by some of America's biggest corporations. Their employees aren't being productive enough. I don't 100% buy that statement either, right? Now that I'm thinking about it. Like, aren't we in one of the most productive eras ever? Gallup recently did a survey about quiet quitting county workers who report being neither engaged or actively disengaged at work. They found that these quiet quitters make up at least half of the U.S. workforce. Overall, Gallup's data doesn't really show a sizable shift in how workers feel about their jobs over the last few years. One area where the data did show a somewhat significant change, however, was among young workers. The percentage of engaged employees under the age of 35 dropped by 6 percentage points from 2019 to 2022, suggesting that while feeling meh about work may par for the course for a lot of Americans, it may be gathering momentum among Gen Zers and millennials. Damn, I wonder why. Yeah, record profits, but wages remain stagnant. But why won't people want to be incentivized to work? Yeah, interesting. It's clear that quiet quitting is a symptom of poor management. Oh my god. Yes, I mean, sure, you can make an argument that, like, obviously, like, the managerial whatever positions are garbage usually, and I use that word loosely, usually, but holy fuck, can you pay people? Literally, they've like thought up and ran through some really stunning mental gymnastics, and have yet we're almost halfway to the point, and have yet to address the wages. These people will literally try to like perform some incredible mental gymnastics to try to explain this phenomena. Like, damn, people are really like not putting not going far and above and beyond what they're asked to do. And like, A, why should they? Pay them more. B, pay them more. C, pay them more. Jesus fucking Christ. Unbelievable. The organization recommends that company managers do a better job of communicating with their underlings. Oh man. Oh, this is amazing. Yeah, this listen, we've done a Gallup poll, and it seems to me that the majority of employees actually support the idea of more pizza parties at the office. That's really all you need to do, okay? So, yeah. And Gallup finds the best requirement and habit to develop for successful managers having one meaningful conversation per week with each team member, around 15 to 30 minutes. Holy yikes. Oh my god, my company's actually doing this. This is where it's coming from. This is clown logic. Listen, you don't need weekly meetings, okay? To address quiet quitting. Yeah, it's the same BS about empathetic leadership that gets peddled. Yeah, I just realized that this is exactly what's happening at my place. Weekly meetings that have like having one meaningful conversation per week, about 15 to 30 minutes. About what? Just fucking pay people more. Easy peasy. The loud reaction to quiet quitting. Since the concept of quiet quitting began ricocheting around the internet, there have been countless takes on it. Supporters argue that quiet quitting is a way to safeguard your mental health. True. Prioritize your family, friends, and passions. True. To avoid burnout. True. But many movers and shakers are against it. Yeah, I don't know who's against just fulfilling your contract, okay? You don't even need daily meetings. Meetings are a waste of productive hours. Yeah, like, damn, we're having a productivity issue, so we're going to solve the productivity issue by inserting meetings that, by taking away people off their desks. Okay. I do not need to know that you could not do it without me. Yeah, I think we already know that. Thank you. Just pay me more. Yes. This could have been an email. True. True. This could have just been an email. Listen, the only thing I need to know is if I'm doing my job, and if I'm doing my job within the acceptable parameters, I don't need to know anything else. Unless you're giving me a pay raise. My company is using Teams. Yeah, we use Teams. Wait, is it Teams? It's not Skype. It's Teams. Yeah. We use Teams. Quiet quitting isn't just about quitting on a job. It's a step towards quitting on life. What? This is ridiculous. This is ludicrous. Complaints. Yeah, this is a complaint. Ariana Huffington arguing that quiet quitters would be better served finding jobs that they are passionate about. Oh, yeah, truly. The working class just needs to tell me that you are a privileged, completely divorced from reality person without telling me that you are a privileged, divorced from reality person. This is amazing. Yeah, just find a job that you're passionate about. Yeah, like I'm really passionate about being able to make payments and bills. That's what I'm passionate about. Listen, I'm not here to freaking do anything else, okay? The contract says I do X for X amount. That's it. Oh yeah, she's an heiress to a fortune. She's super in touch with the laborers. Gotcha. Let's see who this person is. A link to the LinkedIn profile, of course. Let's see who this clown is. Oh, yeah. Whoa. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. She's a CEO. Jesus Christ. How much money did Adriana Huffington make off people writing for free for the Huffington Post? Yeah. Quiet quitting is a term that's an idea not so quietly gathering steam, and also we need to quit on, says the CEO. I first noticed it in July on the heels of a viral TikTok video. You're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going far and beyond. Yeah, fulfilling your contract. You're still performing your duties, fulfilling your contract, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. How toxic is this that this person just wants that to be like a thing, right? The term has caught on with recent write-ups in Fortune, HuffPost, Today, USA Today, and the Wall Street Journal, among others. Quiet quitting has clearly entered our work conversation, but here's why we need to keep it out of our work lives. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. My favorite, not my problem if you don't understand the amount of bandwidth a task will take. Either offer overtime or get more people. They had me working 20 hours of overtime a week, and since then added 15 employees. Yeah, my favorite part is we have a bunch of we have a bunch of calls waiting, so try not to stay on whatever. In other words, try to handle as many calls as possible. And I'm here thinking I'm good. I'm gonna do exactly my job, and I'm going to do my job right. And if the issue here is that there's too many phone calls and you allowed 2 people to go into different departments without replacing them, it sounds like you need to hire more people or pay more. Work is not my life, but it's one aspect that it takes up too much time, honestly, but it's also like eating and having, but I also like eating and having a roof over my head. Yep. Work can give us something meaning and purpose, like my fortune. Oh my god, the audacity of this person. The audacity of this person. Imagine thinking that like work has to be the center of your like meaning and purpose. Can you imagine that? That is the most toxic like mentality that I've ever seen. Like, you know that there's other things to life, right? I'm just saying. That's right, Maple Leaf Dragon. We need to keep this dangerous idea of just fulfilling your contract out of this workplace, because American corporation. I mean, I run on voluntary slave. I mean, we're family. We're a family, and to keep our costs down, we just offer like pizza parties and milk every blood red cent for profit from. I mean, pizza parties and family, right? Am I right? Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate that. Grab a beverage and a snack, and I hope you pop some headphones in. Thank you for the lurk. A Deloitte study about how you treat employees better when they exploit college grads to work around the clock for funsies. Nice! Work can give us something meaning and purpose, like, my next yacht. It's part of a thriving life. We should absolutely reject hustle culture and burnout, which is the whole point of quiet quitting. That's the philosophy. That's it. I'm going to call it a night. Actually, I'm just going to lurk. My brain hurts. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you get some rest, my friend. Going above and beyond doesn't mean allowing ourselves to be burnt out. Okay, so then how do you do it? Pushing ourselves beyond the bare minimum is how we grow. Okay, but if promotions and wages aren't reflecting that, where's the incentive? We can't evolve and expand the possibilities if you don't offer those possibilities. So then the incentive goes away, right? So instead of quiet quitting, how about joyful joining? Rather than go through the motions in a job you've effectively quit on, no, you're fulfilling the contract. Why not find one that inspires you, engages you, and brings you joy? Like which one, my friend? Can you, like which one? So, I don't know. Do I want... let's see what my options are here. Let's see. As a person from the working class. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna leave this position at this retail place to go to another retail place, or I also have the option, the choice of going to another retail place, or I also have the choice of the service industry. Yeah, all these workers in the pandemic who are healthcare heroes in the same boat as the rest of us in the ever shrinking middle and lower class. Yep. The audacity of this person. People who shut down their laptop at 5, they don't work for me, says business thinkfluencer. Oh man, aka this is a red flag. If you present yourself as a business thinkfluencer, oh man, red flag. Red flag. I hope they work for my competitors. Yeah, people, Jesus. People who put healthy work and work/home boundaries, work-life boundaries, are are bad. Gotcha. Thanks. Others worry that quiet quitting is too passive aggressive and can't accomplish what workers really want. No, it accomplishes exactly what workers want, which is to fulfill the contract, get paid. That's it. Yeah, you have a family? Fuck 'em. I need you working longer. Why is your laptop off at 5 p.m. exactly? Eastern time. What is wrong with you? This is sociopathic. Jesus Christ. Your time belongs to me. Cami Reek, writing in the Washington Post, suggests that people who tend to experience the highest levels of burnout, women and people of color, probably can't afford to quiet quit. Instead of silently refusing to put in extra hours, I would probably be more helpful to raise these concerns with your boss and brainstorm other solutions. Wait, did we go over this? Kevin O'Leary loves people who love getting him more money. True. But, like, why not both? And why would you even, like... Why not both, right? If you raise these concerns with your boss and they're not met, then, okay, cool. Then you are correct into doing the bare minimum to do what you're paid to do, and that's it. Hamilton Nolan, writing in The Guardian, stresses that workers in generations past also felt a collective sense of malaise, but they channeled their frustrations into something more productive than coasting at their jobs. But it's not coasting. Coasting, the implication of coasting is doing, like, below, like, you're trying to get away with it, right? It's below standards, right? Hold on. Jesus. Okay, so in this context, the act or make progress without much effort. But what if you're doing your job? What if you're fulfilling the requirements of your job? The implication is that they're trying to spin it in a negative way, but whatever. Creating unions. Okay, why not both? You can simultaneously say, like, I'm done. I'm not gonna. There's no reason for me to do above that of what I'm paid for. In fact, now that I've come to this realization, we should probably consider talking to each other about a union. This article is Crinky Crunch Mat. I wish I knew what that even meant. I don't even know what language that is. Coasting is completing your job with less effort than otherwise expected. Yeah, so if you completed your job and you did it, then what's the problem here? This is like the people, oh my god, this is like the people who get, the employers who would get angry that the cashiers have, like, a seat instead of standing when they could easily do their job just the same while sitting down. Like, I don't know. This is wild to me. This is a wild, like, take on this. All of these working people did not quit. Nobody quit. Nobody quit. Nobody quit. It's just doing what you get paid to do. That's it. The only sad part about quiet quitting is that it's capitalism done right, and capitalists don't like it. Yeah, because at the end of the day, they just believe that. Well, anyways, labor belongs to them. I'm incentivized to do what I am for a period of hours, and that's it. Yeah. Nor were they quiet. They knew what was wrong, and they fixed it loudly. Or you could come to the realization that maybe this isn't all good, and maybe you shouldn't be pushed for more than you're getting paid for. You shouldn't be shafted. When you get paid X amount, you do X amount of work, nothing more, nothing less. That was the contract. And B, you could also, this is like a false, like, man, whatever. This makes a logical leap, assuming that you can't do both, right? Assuming that you can't do both. Here's the logic. Which is worth more, a 10K ring you find or the same ring if you 10 years... If you 10 years to save the money to get it? Oh, okay, hold on. Here's the logic. Which is worth more, a 10K ring you find or the same ring if you work 10 years to save the money to get it? I don't know if that analogy fits. It's the way the capitalists want to frame it. Quiet quitting implies that you're not doing your job. Yeah, there's a negative spin to it. Like, dude, it shouldn't even be called quiet quitting, to be quite frank. I don't know who created this term, but even U.S. Secretary of Labor Marty Walsh recently chimed in on, hey, listen, if you are an employer, you should catch on early enough that your employees aren't satisfied, aren't happy, and then there needs to be a dialogue, a conversation. Just freaking pay people more. That's it. Holy shit. This is like, this is not rocket science, okay? One of the more simple models in neoclassical economics, says that in a competitive market, workers are paid their marginal product. That means the more productive they are, the more extra widgets they make per hour, the more they get paid. But that's not how this works. In this cartoon world, like the tacit admission that this is like just fantasy, that you actually just get paid what you're worth. This is fantasy. They're literally calling it a cartoon world where you actually get paid based on like your actual labor. There would be strong incentives against quiet quitting. You work harder, you get paid more. You coast, you get paid less. But that's not the definite... whatever. And we should say for some workplaces that might actually be a good approximation of how the world works. It doesn't. It literally doesn't. You're more likely to get raises and promotions when your boss believes you're working hard. Doesn't happen. This is about as cartoonish as this analogy just here. But of course, the world is much more messy than workers simply getting paid for how efficiently they work. A more sophisticated cartoon of the workplace is known as the principal grade agent model. In this model, the principal, the boss, enlists an agent, the worker, to do a specific job for them. The problem, the principal doesn't have the complete information on exactly what their agent is doing. Is their agent being productive on the job, or are they slacking in order to make sure that the blah, 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 blah. This is so friggin' boring. This model has implications for the dramatic change in office life or lack of office life we've seen in recent years. With the mass adaptation of remote work, many managers seem to be struggling with how to effectively monitor and motivate their employees. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Remember, folks, capitalism offers you freedom. How could capitalism be authoritarian? Unreal. But companies are trying. Oh, I believe so. A recent investigation by the New York Times finds 8 out of 10 of the largest private U.S. employers track the productivity metrics of an individual worker, many in real time, and they document a surge in companies investing in digital productivity monitoring creepy spying software, in other words, to oversee their white-collar employees. Many employees, whether working remotely or in person, are subject to trackers, nice, scores, idle buttons, or just quiet, constantly accumulating records. Pauses can lead to penalties from lost pay to lost jobs. It's all a bit icky. Yeah. I would say so. Of course, the mantra of quiet quitting, at least according to TikTok, is not really about failing to do your job. It's about quitting the idea of going above and beyond. But the concept has drawn much criticism for being a misnomer. Yeah, it's a misnomer because you're not actually quitting. You're just fulfilling your contract. For example, for overshadowing the quote quiet firing trend, where companies passively aggressively make their employees work lives unhappy and quiet fleecing, which refers to workers' pay lagging behind their increased productivity for decades. Yeah, that's quiet fleecing is a direct result, or I should say, is the cause of quiet quitting. Pay people more. Jesus Christ. NPR reached out to listeners and readers to get their perspective on quiet quitting. Some dislike the name, some dislike the name. It's pretty confusing, so they offered some rebranding alternatives. Reverse hustle, work-life integration, nice. Acting your wage, there we go. This is stupid. Corporate coasting, stupid. Working at work, what? Doing your job, yep. Working to rule, yep. Working to thrive, no. Morale adjusted productivity. Nice. Our audience members also shared real life experience with setting boundaries at work. Yes, because that's healthy. Below are some of their comments, with 2 people asking to shorten their last names for fear of repercussions at work. If you have to fear repercussions at work, that is not a healthy a healthy work environment. Jesus Christ. Capitalism offers you freedom, folks. Since COVID, I feel like my priorities, values, and who and what are important to me have shifted drastically. I now leave my office at the end of the day not thinking about what I need to work on when I go home at night, because you shouldn't. I set boundaries for checking my emails, based. Reaching out to coworkers during non-office hours, based. More importantly, I do not feel any bit of anxiety when it comes to requesting time off, based. It's yours. Taking personal days or especially taking sick time, based. Before it was something I could agonize over, now it's something I can do without hesitation or worry. Based, it's yours. Many of my friends work in big law while they're paid very well. The expectations placed on associates are extremely demanding and often unfair and emotionally abusive. Jesus Christ. They can't or won't draw similar boundaries, often for fear of retaliation, but they all recognize the toll it takes on their mental and physical health. Many have left their positions as a result. Yeah. I do not interact with anything from work before 7 or after 4:30, which is the time my office is open. Based. I work in a corporate setting, so my tasks are not life or death. If someone asks for something, like maybe a filed scan or something like that at the end of the day, it can wait until the next day. Based. My colleagues do not feel the same way. They answer their phones and answer emails outside of work on vacations. Oh, yeah. No thanks. Sometimes I'll come in Monday morning and we'll see 5+ emails from coworkers sent at 7 p.m. on a Saturday. Yeah. No thank you. No thank you. I have zero ability to do anything but do as I am required by my boss. The idea of quiet quitting fits any jobs besides ones laden with keyboard strokes, spreadsheets, and meetings, and is patently foolish. It feels more like a realization by people who have been more than happy to work 24/7, 365 to chase the almighty dollar, that their lives are being wasted in pursuit of more stuff, and now they're being presented some laughable notion of, I just realized I work too much, but luckily I can afford to do less because no one will notice anyway, as somehow a paradigm shift in workers' rights. I'm disgusted that this has ever become something that people believe could be effective for the bulwark of the workforce. I don't like it when people don't want to be at the beck and call of bosses. What? Imagine being this mad. Unbelievable. No boundaries. I will do whatever necessary to make it possible to get a green card in the future. I cannot return to where I originally from. I have to work 10 times to be more entitled to 1/10 of what U.S. citizens take it for granted. Yeah, but that's a whole other story. That's unfortunate. That's not fair. The company I work for wants me to voluntarily put an app on my personal phone. I don't put it on there. I don't put it on there. If they want me to communicate with me about work, they can either give me a phone call, a text message, or heck, send me a letter in the mail, but I will not give the company access to my phone. Based. If they want me to sign on to an app, they can message me every day. They can shell out the money for the phone to come with it. Based. I have boundaries of accepting as many assignments as I can handle, and yes, still provide excellent results. I do take on extra work, but that is 100% my choice. No one should be looked down upon for not doing extra work. Based. All right, let's see if we can even get through this. And
Today, we are in the world today. We are worried about climate change and what that is doing to our planet. We're worried about the terrible war in Ukraine and all of the destruction taking place there. We're worried about inflation and the fact that wages are not keeping up with the prices that people are paying. We're worried about the massive level of income and wealth inequality that exists in our country and the increased concentration of ownership that we see in the United States.
Are you like a sock them?
Among many, many other things that are on people's minds.
I'm a lot of things.
But to my mind,
I'm
Madam
everything.
President, the American people remain, and always are, deeply concerned about an issue that by definition touches each and every one of us, and that is our collapsing and dysfunctional healthcare system.
We went over an article yesterday about the dissatisfaction of the dissatisfaction people have on our current healthcare system, and I use those words loosely.
While it is not discussed much in the corporate media or here in the halls of Congress, we have today in the United States the most inefficient, bureaucratic,
True.
and expensive
True.
healthcare system in the world.
True.
And that's not just what I believe. That is what the American people know to be true because of their lived experience with the healthcare system. Madam President, I would hope that all members of Congress take a hard look at a poll that was published yesterday by the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. And this is some of what the poll disclosed.
What do you think I am? You tell me.
At a time when I hear many of my colleagues tell us that we have the best healthcare system in the world,
If you can pay
turns
for
out
it.
that according to this poll, just 12% of the American people believe
Oh, he's
that
citing.
healthcare in
Wait,
general
that's based. He's citing the article that we went over. Yeah. No, it wasn't yesterday. Maybe it was the day before. No, I don't know. Maybe it was yesterday. Yeah, he's citing the exact statistics. Nice.
handled very well or extremely well in the United States. 12%. At a time when we pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, only 6% of the American people believe that prescription drug costs in the United States are being handled well or extremely well. 6%. At a time when COVID has exacerbated the crisis, only 5% of the American people believe that the mental health care system in the United States is being handled well or extremely well. 5%.
True.
And when so many older Americans have died unnecessarily in nursing homes, and when so many cannot even find
We're getting warmer.
the nursing home bed that they need, just 6% of Americans believe that the quality of care at nursing homes in the United States is very good or exceptional. 6%. Madam President, the American people increasingly understand, as I do, that health care is a human right,
Based.
not a privilege,
Based.
and that we must end the international embarrassment of the United States of America being the only major country on earth that does not guarantee health care to all of its citizens. And again, that is not just Bernie Sanders talking. That is what the overwhelming majority of the American people believe. According to yesterday's AP poll,
Boys.
66% of the American people believe it is the federal government's responsibility to make sure that all Americans have health insurance coverage. 66%. Over 86% of the American people
Because we
believe
don't have the greatest
that it is
healthcare
absurd
system.
that millions of senior citizens lack dental care, hearing aids, and vision care. And they believe that Medicare should be expanded to cover these basic health care needs. This happens to be an issue I've been working on for several years. 86% of the American people believe that Medicare should cover dental care, hearing aids, and vision care. 86%. Madam President, at a time when our long-term health care system is in shambles, 81% of the American people believe that Medicare should cover the outrageous cost of long-term health care for senior citizens and people with disabilities. 81%. Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that this AP poll be placed in the record.
Without objection.
Thank you. Madam President, it is hard for me to imagine how anyone could defend a healthcare system in which over 70 million people today are either uninsured or underinsured. As we speak, this moment, there are millions of Americans who would like to go to a doctor, who need to go to a doctor, but cannot afford to go to a doctor because of the outrageous cost of medical care in this country. Frankly, I am tired of talking to physicians who tell me about the patients who died because they were uninsured or underinsured, and who walked into the doctor's office when it was too late. Time and time again, I hear from doctors who tell me about a patient who walked in and they said to the patient, "Why didn't you come in when you first noticed your symptoms?" And the patient responded, "I don't have the money, I can't afford the copayment, or I have no insurance at all." Madam President, we are talking about, and I know we don't talk about it much, but maybe we should, we're talking about some 68,000 Americans who die every single year because they are uninsured or underinsured and don't get the medical care that they need. This is the United States, the wealthiest country in the history of the world. 68,000 Americans should not die every year unnecessarily. Madam President, I am tired of seeing working-class families and small businesses pay far more for health care than they can afford, which results with more than 500,000 Americans every year declaring bankruptcy because of medically related expenses. 500,000 Americans declare bankruptcy because of outrageous health care bills they simply cannot afford to pay. Families in America should not be driven into financial ruin
Based.
because someone...
Robert Rosati, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Folks, we are one step closer to almost 2,000 followers. We are so close, folks.
in that family became seriously ill. Sickness should not be a cause of financial ruin.
True.
President, I am tired of hearing from Americans who lost loved ones because they could not afford the unbelievably high cost of prescription drugs. And I'm tired of hearing from constituents who are forced to cut their pills in half due to the cost. Today, unbelievably, almost 1 out of 4 patients cannot afford the prescription drugs that doctors prescribe. And when you want to talk about an irrational and dysfunctional healthcare system, think about a system in which people go to a doctor, they get diagnosed as to their healthcare problem, they get a prescription drug prescribed to them, but they can't afford to buy the drug the doctor prescribes. So what ends up happening? They end up getting sicker. Maybe they end up in the emergency room at an outrageous cost. Maybe because they couldn't afford the prescription drugs in the first place, they end up in a hospital at a very high cost. Maybe they die. That is an irrational and absurd healthcare system.
100% agree.
Madam President,
It's criminal. Private health insurance companies should not exist. Should not exist, period, full stop. Are you an anarchist? I think that I sympathize with anarchist, with some anarchist points. Yes.
Tired of talking to people and families of people who are struggling with mental illness but cannot afford the mental health counseling
I think some anarchist points make sense.
they desperately need. Last year, as you know, a record-breaking 100,000 Americans died of drug overdoses.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that in my office, and I'm sure that in every other Senate office, we get desperate calls from family members looking for affordable mental health counseling. And far too often, that care simply is not there in the community. People are struggling with husbands, wives, kids who are on the verge of doing something terrible to themselves, to others. And yet in this country, despite spending far more for health care than any other country, we don't have the capability of helping those people. Madam President, it's not there. The mental health counseling, the help that people need, is not there because in this system, geared toward the profits of the insurance companies rather than the needs of the American people,
True.
we don't have enough psychologists, counselors, or social workers. Unbelievably, despite spending far more per capita on healthcare than any other nation, we don't even have enough doctors. We're facing a major doctor shortage in America now, which will only get worse in years to come if we don't address it. We don't have enough nurses. We don't have enough dentists. We don't have enough medical providers in general. We have, however, more than enough people who bill us and more than enough debt collectors who hound us to pay for a bill we cannot afford, but we just don't have enough people to provide the health care that we desperately need. And by the way, that crisis of lack of health care providers is only going to get worse as our society continues to age. Madam President, at a time of declining life expectancy, in the wealthiest country on earth, your health and your longevity should not be dependent on the amount of money you have. It is
Base.
an absolute outrage and grossly un-American that the number of years we live in this country is dependent upon our income. Studies have
Yep.
shown that the top 1% of Americans live 15 years longer than the poorest people in our society. It's not only the very top as opposed to the very bottom. It's wealthy people in general versus working class people. If you got the money, you're going to live longer in this country than if you do not have the money. In my view, health care is a human right that all Americans, regardless of income, are entitled to. And all Americans deserve the best quality health care that our country can provide. Further, as chairman of the Senate Budget Committee, it is not acceptable to me that we end up spending over twice as much as virtually any other major country on earth per capita, twice as much per capita, while our life expectancy and other healthcare outcomes lag behind most other countries.
True.
And this is really quite an amazing.
Are you a libertarian socialist? A Vosh fan? I mean, like, I haven't watched Vosh in probably a while. I think years now at this point. I'm my own thing.
thing? We spend more, and yet our results are worse than other countries. Unbelievably, according to the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, we are now spending $12,535 per capita on health care. Imagine that. Over $12,000 for every man, woman, and child in this country. This is, frankly, an outrageous and unsustainable sum of money. In comparison, the United Kingdom spends just $5,300, France spends $5,400, Canada $5,900, Germany $7,300. We spend over $12,000 per year. The question that everyone should be asking is, how does it happen that we spend so much money for health care, but we get so little in return? Madam President, let's be
Profit.
clear. The current debate over health care in the United States really has nothing to do with health care. Frankly, it is hard to defend this dysfunctional system. The health care debate has everything to do with the unquestionable greed of the healthcare industry and their desire to maintain a system which fails the average American, but which makes the industry huge profits every single year.
Profit.
While ordinary Americans struggle to pay for health care during this pandemic, the 6 largest health insurance companies in our country made over $60 billion in profits last year, led by United Health Group, which made $24 billion in 2021. Madam President, while millions of Americans cannot afford soaring health care costs, the top executives in the insurance industry receive huge amounts of compensation. In 2020, remember, 70 million uninsured and underinsured, 68,000 dying every year because they don't get to a doctor on time. But in 2020, the CEOs of 178 major healthcare companies collectively made $3.2 billion in total compensation, up 31% from the previous year, all in the midst of the pandemic. People dying every single day, cost of healthcare soaring, and yet the CEOs saw a 31% increase in their compensation. Madam President, according to Axios, in 2020, the CEO of Cigna, David Cordani, took home $79 million in compensation. The CEO of Centene,
Appreciate it.
Mr. Neerdorf, made $59 million. The CEO of
Thank you for stopping by.
United Health Group, Mr. Wickman, received $42 million in total compensation. But it is not just the health insurance companies that are ripping off the American people, it's the drug companies as well. In terms of the pharmaceutical industry, last year, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and AbbVie, 3 giant pharmaceutical companies, increased their profits by over 90% to $54 billion. How's that? In the midst of a pandemic where we have lost now over 1 million people, where millions and millions of people have become sick, the profits of the major drug companies went up by over 90%. The CEO of Moderna got a $926 million golden parachute after his company received $2.5 billion in taxpayer dollars to develop the vaccine. We all appreciate the development of the vaccine, which is saving lives every day. But really, does the CEO of the company that received $2.5 billion of taxpayer money deserve a $926 million golden parachute? That is an indication, a manifestation of a sick and broken healthcare system.
True.
And while over 330,000
not about
Americans
healthcare.
died during the pandemic because they could not afford to go to a doctor on time, the CEO of Regeneron Pharmaceuticals made over $450 million in total compensation. Madam President, the current system is failing the American people, and the American people want change, real change. In March, months ago, I was pleased to introduce Medicare for All legislation with 15 Senate co-sponsors. Companion legislation in the House now has 122 co-sponsors. This legislation would improve and expand Medicare to cover over a 4-year period health care to every man, woman, and child in this country. In other words, what this legislation finally does is make sure that the United States joins every other major country and that we guarantee health care to all of our people. This legislation is comprehensive, and it would end out-of-pocket expenses, and unlike the current system, it would provide full freedom of choice regarding health care providers. In other words, on the Medicare for All, there would no longer be insurance premiums, deductibles, or co-payments. No more networks which deny you your choice of doctors. And when I talk about Medicare for All being comprehensive, it would cover dental care, vision, hearing aids, prescription drugs, and home and community-based care. In other words, Madam President, it would do precisely what the American people want us to do. Would a Medicare for All system be expensive? Yes. But while providing comprehensive care for all, it would be significantly less expensive than our current dysfunctional system because it would eliminate an enormous amount of the bureaucracy, profiteering, administrative costs, and misplaced priorities inherent in our current for-profit system.
Yep.
Remember, we currently pay twice as much for health care as do the people of virtually any other country. And all of those countries manage to provide universal health care. So yes, we can provide quality care for all at a much, much lower cost per person. Under Medicare for All, there would no longer be armies of people billing us, telling us what is covered and what is not covered, and hounding us to pay our hospital bills. This not only saves substantial sums of money, but will make life a lot easier for the American people who would never again have to fight their way through the nightmare of insurance company bureaucracy. In fact, the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, estimated that Medicare for All would save Americans $650 billion a year.
Wow.
Now, trust me, I do know the 30-second ads from the insurance and drug companies that have told us that if Medicare for All becomes law, your taxes will go up. But what they forgot to tell you is that under Medicare for All, you will no longer be paying premiums, deductibles, co-payments, and out-of-pocket expenses to private health insurance companies. And what they certainly won't tell you is that Medicare for All will save the average American family thousands of dollars a year. In fact, a study by RAND found that moving to a Medicare for All system would save a family with an income of less than $185,000 about $3,000 a year on average.
Wow.
Now, one might ask, fair enough, if Medicare for All is so good, if it has so many advantages, if it's what the American people want, why hasn't it been enacted by now?
True.
Why hasn't the United States joined every other major country?
Because of corruption and lobbying. That's what it is. That's the answer. It's sad to hear him talk because he's right, but no one is listening or gives a shit to do anything. Yeah, I think for the most part, like, is he just speaking to, like, nobody except the, Madam President, which is Kirsten Sinema? Is that the only person? I don't know, but I totally feel you, though.
Guaranteeing health care for all. And that, Madam President, takes us to our corrupt political system and the outrageous way we fund campaigns. So I would suggest if you want to know why we are stuck with a dysfunctional healthcare system that fails the American people, but makes the drug companies and the insurance companies wildly profitable, follow the money. Follow the money. Since 1998, in our corrupt political system, the private healthcare sector has spent more than $10 billion on lobbying. Got that? $10 billion on lobbying since 1998, and over the last 30 years, it has spent more than $1.7 billion on campaign contributions to maintain the status quo. And in terms of their lobbying efforts, let's be clear, they are very, very bipartisan. There are former Democratic Party leaders, former Republican Party leaders working together to represent the insurance companies and the drug companies. And by the way, of course, in terms of the campaign contributions, Madam President, the insurance companies and the drug companies are also very bipartisan. In fact, their contributions go to many members of both the Democratic and Republican parties. It doesn't really matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. What matters
that is true bipartisanship right there. Jesus Christ.
is you protect the interests of the drug companies and the insurance companies. But you know, Madam President, what I believe is that maybe, just maybe, now is the time for Congress to do what the American people want, not what the lobbyists want, not what the drug companies want, not what the insurance companies want. And maybe, just maybe, we should have the courage to take on powerful special interests who dominate healthcare in the United States. And maybe, just maybe, now is the time to provide healthcare to every man, woman, and child as a human right by passing a Medicare for All single-payer program. And with that, Madam President, I yield the floor.
Based. Bernie Sanders. Excellent speech.
Donald Trump Jr., Doug Mastriano, me at this Friday rally right there in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. I believe the Spirit of God is going to show up in a unique way. They're attacking everyone who is a Christian in politics as a Christian nationalist. All the Christians are pearl clutching and hand wringing about Christian nationalism. All the nervous, religious types are all warning me, Lance, don't use the term Christian nationalist. They just make you so mad. I feel like coming out as a Christian nationalist because the devil control, like the rainbow. The rainbow used to be in the Bible, a sign from God of his covenant that would never destroy. Then the LGBTQ movement got a hold of it. And now if you put a rainbow on something, are you LGBTQ? It's like the devil grabs stuff and brands it. It makes me so mad. I'm not willing to let Christianity and the nation or nationalism or love of nation be destroyed by the left, who's like an ubiquitous force, they're like a virus. Donald Trump Jr.
We could always just shorten it to, Nazi. This is the Republican Party, folks. This is not a fringe element of the Republican Party. This is not a fringe element of conservatism. This is conservatism. I keep saying, and I will continue to harp on this point, folks, these people can and will implement a theocratic authoritarian state. I'm just saying, this is a peek as to what's down the road if they win elections. I'm just saying. You got to listen to Mike Duncan today? Oh, from the Majority Report? Yes, go check out the VODs. On Twitch. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm embarrassed to say. I'm embarrassed to say. Anyhow, I hope you're well. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you. You actually caught us on the cusp of the sign-off. I was going to go over this. We're just going to do this one really quick, I guess, because it's funny. There's a second trial that's going to begin for Alex Jones over the Sandy Hook hoax comments. And TLDR, I hope he gets sued out of existence. We'll see how this trial ends up, and I hope he continues to have to pay millions and millions for each one of these lawsuits. Folks, it is about that time. It's getting close to the 8 p.m. time. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, make sure you hit the follow button. It really does help us out. You get 5 free emotes, and spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us Sundays around noon Eastern Time for Sunday Fun Day with the co-host. If you guys also want to support the show, head on over to the YouTube, hit the subscribe button, do all the likes and whatever. If you want to keep up with the channel, head on over to the Discord. You get updates, and you also get a sneak peek at to what I cover for the day. I always post the articles on the Discord, and any updates for the show will be posted there. I am working on some other stuff down the pipeline. I am going to start recording. I'm going to start recording like little 10-minute podcasts. I've tried this before like a million times, and I have yet to have like a steady flow of episodes. I've attempted a difficult truth podcast probably maybe 2 or 3 times, 3 times. So this would be like reboot number 3 or 4. So yeah, I'm gonna work on it, and when I do end up finishing, I'm gonna start like releasing episodes every week on Fridays, but we'll continue to work on that because I want to make sure that I can keep that schedule. So I'm gonna make at least like 4 episodes. 10-minute recordings are not as easy as I thought, okay? Like writing out and thinking the scripts and just doing all that, recording it and messing up and re-recording it, all that takes a lot of time and work, and then you have to edit it. Sheesh. Yeah. It's a lot more difficult than I than anticipated, even if it's only 10-minute episodes. But nonetheless, any updates, I will definitely keep you posted, so make sure you hit the Discord so that you guys can keep up with that. Folks, it is time for me to sign off. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Thank you to all the new followers. I appreciate that. Thank you for the biddies and all the support. Don't forget, folks, we'll be here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! Trips over a power cord? Not today. Not today. Oh look, it's $27, 3-year anniversary. Let's go bother them. Alright folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya!